A new translation of the Rite of Christian Initiation of Adults is coming soon. Is your diocese ready?
Hi everyone, it's Diana.
And I'm Nick.
And it's Team OCIA. We've been offline for a long time, but we are back online because it's coming. It's coming finally, as far as we know.
All the approvals have been approved. So it's going to be very soon transferred to the publishers. And then we still don't know exactly when, but pretty certain it's going to be in late 2024.
Yes, that's assuming everything goes as planned.
The printing presses don't break. We don't run out of paper. There's no tsunami in the Midwest.
But first, let's just back up. So, the Rite of Christian Initiation of Adults, that is the official ritual text in the entire Catholic world for how we initiate adults into the Christian faith. And the current rite is still the current rite. Don't toss it out yet. Don't start saying Order of Christian Initiation of Adults or OCIA. We are still, right now, as of this day, still using the Rite of Christian Initiation of Adults. When we will get a new translation will not be until probably fall of 2024. And only until we actually get the go-ahead from the United States bishops and we actually have books in our hand and a date for when those books must be used, then do we say we are using the Order of Christian Initiation of Adults, or OCIA.
Now, if you're not in the United States, but you're in an English-speaking country, your timeline will probably be similar to the United States, but that'll be determined by your local bishops' conference. So check with them for the exact dates, but it'll be roughly fall 2024 for pretty much the whole English-speaking world.
But the general things that we'll be talking about here in this video is going to be the same for everyone, regardless of what
the translation is the same for everyone.
Yes, there might be some very small adaptations that are particular for your country, but in general, the principles that we're going to talk about here will be the same for you.
So probably the biggest question we get most frequently is, why in the world are we doing this?
Because we have nothing else to do. No. So if you remember long ago, we began with new translations of everything. The first one was the Mass, the standard everyday Sunday Mass. You remember we used to say, "The Lord be with you, and also with you," right? And now we say, "The Lord be with you and with your spirit." So all of the rituals in the Catholic Church, the Roman Catholic Church, are being translated, retranslated into the vernacular because of a shift in the principles of translation that goes all the way back to John Paul II and his papacy. And so we've been doing this really since 2000, right? And so and
they're being translated from, I think everyone knows.
From Latin. Latin is the original base language for ritual texts. So all of our rituals, all of our rites start off in Latin, and then from there they get translated into the various languages of the world. And so that's why we have new English translations of many of our rites right now.
So the language is changing, but what's not changing?
The principles, the process, the guides, the rites themselves. And so if you remember, the Mass did not change. Confirmation did not change. Infant baptism did not change. But the words that get used by the priest or the presider, by the people themselves, the specific way we say some acclamations, those will change. Those are being changed. But the way we do initiation will not change.
Another thing that's not changing is the paragraph numbers. So you'll hear us refer oftentimes to paragraph 75 or paragraph 9 or paragraphs 4 and 5. In the Latin, original base text, those paragraph numbers are different than they are in the English translation. And that's because way back when English was first promulgated in early 1980s, the U.S. bishops and the other English-speaking bishops' conferences thought it would be more pastoral to move some of the introductions from all in the front to in front of the specific rites they referred to. And that caused the numbering to get juggled in the translations. So there was some concern about it. Once we retranslate, are we going to go back to the original numbering system, or are we going to keep the system we've had since the Rite was first translated into English? And the good news is we're keeping the exact same number system that we have had for all these years.
Mm-hmm. So all of the numbers that you have memorized, I know you have memorized all of the really important numbers. What are some important numbers?
75 is the most important.
75 is, I think,
because paragraph 75 gives us the sort of the training program for new disciples. They have to learn how to be people who absorb and live by God's word, which includes the tradition of the church. They have to be people who can live in a sacrificial, loving community of other Christians. They have to be people, of course, who can praise and worship God, and they have to be people who are concerned for outreach to those who most need to hear the good news, those who Pope Francis says are on the peripheries of society. So all of that is contained in paragraph 75, and it's really a key, absolutely essential block of information that's embedded in the Rite that we all need to be familiar with.
Mm-hmm. Other paragraph numbers that you might want to memorize now are 42, paragraph 42, and paragraph 120, which describe some of the key discernment markers for readiness for the Rite that follows those paragraph numbers. So 42 gives us descriptions of readiness for the rites of acceptance. Paragraph 120 gives us discernment markers for readiness for the rite of election. So all of these paragraph numbers are still going to stay the same.
And those discernment markers are going to stay the same. Yes. They'll just be phrased differently in English. Mm-hmm. But once you get the new Rite, you can compare them and you'll see the information is basically the same. It's just the way that they chose this word or this sentence structure to translate the original Latin.
So another question we get is part 2. Will the children's adaptations still be there? Will the rites for the baptized still be there? Will the combined rites still be there? And yes, they are still there. So nothing is going away. They're all still going to be there. One of the biggest changes, though, that we will be getting in the United States is in the back of the book. So if you open up your Rite of Christian Initiation of Adults ritual text right now and go all the way to the back, you'll find a section called the National Statutes of the Catechumenate for the United States of America. And those are specific guidelines that the United States bishops have put together for the dioceses in the USA. Those will be drastically reduced. So the principles themselves within them are not being removed or taken away or changed. It's just the U.S. bishops decided a lot of the information that's currently in there right now is redundant. Meaning it's already in the ritual text itself, so we don't need to take up more pages to say the same thing. Yes. So they're really just going to focus on canon law, what is specific to the canonical rules of the church, and highlighting those in the national statutes. So you'll see that it's going to go down to like about 20 different paragraphs versus, I don't know, I think it's like 50 right now. So lots of those. What else is changing? Oh, Spanish. You want to say a little about the Spanish?
Yeah, so unlike the English world, the Spanish-speaking world does not have one single translation. So there's a translation for the country of Spain, there's a translation for the country of Mexico, and there's a translation for Spanish speakers in the United States. Mm-hmm. So the new translation that we're going to be getting in Spanish is for the United States. And I'm not fluent in Spanish, but I hear from my Spanish-speaking friends the current translation is pretty rocky, and so they are looking forward to a new translation. And it's not like the English. The English is pretty good in both of the translations, but my understanding is the current Spanish translation in the U.S. needs some help. So
I'm looking forward to seeing that. We haven't studied the new translation of the Spanish yet. We'll tell you in a moment why we have all of this inside information. But first off, one question about the Spanish. People are asking, will the title of the Spanish text change? So currently it is Rito de la Iniciación Cristiana de Adultos, and the only word that is changing in there is rito. It's changing to ritual. So if you're using the acronym RICA, RICA, it's still going to be RICA, but it's now Ritual de la Iniciación Cristiana de Adultos. So there you go. Inside information there. All right, but the same thing, process is not changing, paragraph number is not changing, only the way we say the prayers and the way the descriptions are changing. Anything else about what's changing, what's not changing? Nope. Okay. You want to say a little about how we got here, the specifics about the translation process?
Yeah, Dan already mentioned that this was all initiated by Rome, by Pope John Paul II, and his consultors, the people he has around him, said we need to update. This was kind of always the plan for Vatican II. From the Vatican II in the document said all the rites need to be translated in the vernacular, and then we're going to use them for a while, and then we're going to see if we need to update them or retranslate them. So that's all of this stems really from Vatican II, but it was initiated, this particular part was initiated by Pope John Paul II. And so what happens then is the U.S. bishops work with the other English-speaking bishops, and together they all come up with a new translation, and that has to be approved by each individual bishops' conference. So the U.S. bishops in this case had to get that initial translation and say, we like this, we don't like that, fix this, don't do that. So they massage all that, and then they have to look at it again, and then they look at it again, and they approve that, and that gets sent to Rome. Rome has to approve it, and so that happened a while ago, almost a year ago.
We've been doing
a while ago anyway.
Yes, this. In the United States, this translation process really kind of began, 2016 or so, long ago. And so in last year, 2022, the United States bishops approved the first draft that got sent to Rome. It took pretty much all of 2023 to get a response back from Rome that this was okay, but here are some tweaks and some questions that we have. And then toward the end of 2023, that approved draft came back from Rome for a final update to the United States bishops. So in 2023, November of 2023,
just last month,
yes, the United States bishops took a look at what Rome sent back and said, this all looks good to us. We'll respond to Rome to clarify the questions that they sent to us. And now we have a final.
And as we said, now the U.S. bishops have to transmit that to the Catholic publishers who are interested in printing copies of the Rite. So we don't know that that's happened yet. I don't know if the printers have it yet, but they will very, very soon. Yeah. And then once the bishops hand that off to the printers, and they get an estimate from the printers about when we'll have books in hand, then the U.S. bishops will set kind of two dates. They'll set a date when we can start using the Rite, and they will set a second date when we must start using the Rite. So it's like when it's okay. Like right now, if somehow you have a copy of the Rite, you can't use it. It's not approved for use yet. It's approved as a final translation, but it's not approved for use. So once it's approved for use, then you can use it. But if you don't want to, you probably won't have to, because there'll be a second date when it's mandatory. So in that little tiny window there between approved for use and mandatory use, you might have parishes next door one doing the new Rite, one doing the old Rite. We had this like with the funeral Rite. I remember that was such a drastic change that when there are still a couple of places I think that are using the old funeral Rite because it was such a big change. But there was a window there about when you could use it and when you had to use it. And a lot of places use that window to keep using the old Rite.
Yes. So in any case, the reason why Nick and I have this inside information that other people do as well, your diocesan directors of worship and your diocesan directors of catechesis and evangelization, and your bishop has all of this information. So it's not that we're special or what. But we are a little special because the United States bishops invited Team RCIA to assist with the catechetical resources for the United States. And so we're currently working on putting that together so that the U.S. bishops can put that onto their website and share it widely with everyone in the United States to help them prepare for this new translation, which again, if you're just tuning in, is not going to be available anytime soon. The earliest we're thinking is maybe September 2024.
And Jean has a question too. Because it's not approved for use yet, we can't call it, officially anyway, we can't call it the Order of Christian Initiation of Adults. The name has not changed yet. It will definitely change, but it's at this very moment, what's today, December 13th, 2023, it is still the Rite of Christian Initiation of Adults.
But see, this gets at an interesting thing. What we call the process, whatever official title it is, isn't as important as how we describe the process to the people who are going through it. Because seekers, our unbaptized seekers, really don't care if it's RCIA or OCIA. And those letters don't mean anything to them. What they're looking for is a relationship with God in Christ through the Catholic Church. And so let's take this opportunity to describe the process more accurately. It's not an acronym. It's not a program. It's not a class. It is a relationship with Christ. And so let's come up with creative, more accurate ways to say that. This is a process for falling in love with Christ, for becoming Christian, for becoming Catholic, but OCIA, RCIA, OMG, it kind of doesn't matter. It only matters to us who have to know what's what and all.
If you want to see a whole bunch of different ways to describe this process, we have a handout on our website. If you go to teamrcia.com and look in the top menu section, there's a link up there that says RCIA to OCIA. Click on that, and there's a handouts section. And one of the handouts is a lot of different ways to describe this process that we think have more meaning for seekers.
Yeah, so use this as an opportunity to watch your own language. At Team RCIA, we're going to take seriously that acronym.
Yeah, once the new translation is promulgated, we have an actual name change. We're also going to change our name, and we're not going to tell you what it's going to be. We'll tell you what it's not going to be, though. It's not going to be Team OCIA.
You can call us Team OCIA. We'll answer to anything, but we promise you it will not be Team OCIA. You can guess if you want to guess what it might be or give us suggestions what it should be. Let us know. We'd love to hear.
So we want to let you know about some ways that you can sort of get yourself and your team ready for this new translation. We have done a series of videos. How many videos is it?
10.
It's 10 videos that if you're a Team RCA member, if you're a member of our community, you have access to all 10 of those videos. If you are a diocesan director or some kind of regional director, or you have a very large parish, and you want to extend that access out to more than just yourself, then we have a diocesan package that you can access and make those 10 videos available to everyone in your diocese.
So this 10 video series, it was the entire year of like the end of it was like we started in the late summer of 2022, all the way through the beginning of 2023. We did a series of 10 webinars all about the new translation, but not just the new translation, really about renewing our commitment to the vision of initiation that is in both translations, the current one and the new one that's coming out. So it was an opportunity for all of us to re-examine and reassess how well we're currently doing in our process, in our parishes, compared to what the ritual actually says. And so this is an opportunity now for your entire diocese to do the same together, to really get on the same page. And every webinar gives examples of what the draft new translation is going to be, because when we were doing it, we still did not have that final approval from Rome and the U.S. bishop. So we were still working from a working draft. But you can see what the new text would be and will be. So this is an amazing, easy, simple way for your entire diocese to get on board here. You want to say?
Well, there's kind of three goals we had with this series, and the first one is to help. Diana kind of touched on this, to help everyone discover what that core vision of the Rite is, because no matter what words you use to talk about what we're doing, there is a core vision that's the same throughout. Whether it's in English or Spanish or Latin or Vietnamese or Chinese, it's that core vision of the Rite that we all need to be on the same page about. And then the next goal we had was to refocus ourselves on the primary goal of the process, which is conversion to the person of Jesus Christ. So everything we do in our catechumenate process should be focused on conversion. And I think that's in the back of our heads sometimes, but it's not always forefront in what we're doing. So that was the second goal, focus on conversion. And the third goal we had with this video series was to recommit ourselves to making lifelong disciples right now, the communication of the curriculum, the proclamation of that, the primary proclamation of the good news is what we're all supposed to be about as Christians. So as we're making new disciples, we have to, it's not just about becoming Catholic, but it's about becoming Catholic so that we can be lifelong disciples and communicating that good news to the world. So those three things are kind of the why of why we did these 10 videos. It's not just so much to say, hey, we've got a new translation, but to say why that matters so much.
Yes, and the exciting thing about this video bundle package is that if your diocesan representative, the diocesan director, your bishop, whoever, if they purchase this package, they then are really purchasing a license to give access to everybody in your diocese, not just one person per parish, not just the head of the catechumenate in your parish, but every single person who needs to refocus on the vision of the catechumenate. And so that includes every one of your pastors, all of your deacons, all of your priests, your director of religious education, your school teachers, your campus ministers in the universities and colleges, your catechists, your catechetical directors, your sponsors. Every single person in your diocese will have access to these 10 videos if your diocese chooses to purchase a bundle for your diocese itself. And that is remarkable, I think. I think that is going to be an amazing resource for everyone. And this is 24/7 access, because all of the videos are online right now. And they're each going to have supplementary PDF handouts that help expand the learning as you are watching those videos. Plus you're going to get, everyone in your diocese will get access for now, as soon as you purchase it, until 1 year after the United States bishops say, okay, you must start using this. So really, you're probably going to get access to these training videos for at least 2 years, at least longer, probably longer than that. So it's going to give you a lot of time to watch each video, rewatch each video, talk through it with your teams and your pastors and your priests and clergy.
And as we said, if you go to that link and you see the diocesan package there, and you are not a diocesan leader and you don't think your diocese is going to purchase it, but you still want to have access to them, we have an individual membership,
Yes.
Which is much less than the diocesan membership, of course. And just go to teamrca.com and you'll see information there about membership.
Yes. So, anything else we want to say about this?
Well, mostly that, it's not, everybody's real focused on the new translation. I remember when the new translation for the Mass came out too, everyone was very concerned about all the changes. And now, it feels like normal. The translation for the Mass seems like the way we've always done it almost. And it's going to be that way about this new translation as well. What we want to maintain, what we want to keep excited about, again, is the vision and the principles of the Rite. So we may get a third translation in our lifetime. It's not impossible, especially for the younger folks among us. So it's not the words exactly. Words have meaning. I'm a writer, but it's how the words impact the people in front of us. So we always have to keep that in mind. Who is it right in front of us, and what do they need to hear about who Jesus is in their life? And so if we keep that at the forefront, all the rest of the issues around translation are just kind of like details.
Mm-hmm. I'm just putting in the link here to information on membership. If you want to look at an individual membership, either monthly membership or an annual membership, there's also a parish membership. So your entire parish, everyone in your entire parish gets access not just to the 10 videos, but to all of the online training that we provide.
The individual membership is, like, for access to resources, is way huger than the diocesan package. You get not just those 10 videos, but all of our webinars, all of our courses, all of our video marathons, all of our podcasts. It's just a mountain of information and training available to you.
And we've been doing this since 2007. No, wait, 2007. Yeah, 2007. Oh my God, that feels so old. We're old. 2007. And so premium membership gives you access to everything we've been doing since 2007. All of those webinars and courses. So explore the website. There's a ton of stuff already on there. Oh, I should put in our RCIA to OCIA.
Oh yeah, our resource page for the new translation.
Yes. Oh, let me do that here. So if you just want to explore more stuff about the new translation, we have a resource page that's just all about that upcoming new translation. So, and you can watch the first video for free. Basically, that first video is there for everyone to watch. We edited it so that it's in small chunks, so that you don't have to watch the entire hour and 20 some minutes of it, but pick and choose the parts that you want to see. And that gives you a sense of what the other 9 videos are like and all. So, right, well.
All right, everyone. I think we've said everything we came to say, and except that we want to thank you for all the great work that you do in this ministry. It's just such a joy and always an honor to be serving with you in this important work.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, happy Advent, happy Second Sunday, and we'll see you. We'll see you soon. We'll get back online with these weekly Facebook Lives so that we can keep you up to date about the latest. All right.
All right, everyone. Take care. God bless.